Creativity is an addiction. It does things to your mind, body, and soul that you love. Oh, you feel like you're in heaven, and days you feel like you are in hell. How can we even up the playing field here, right? Unplugged, because we will always say yes to creativity, totally uncut, because we all make mistakes. So turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged. I've been doing this thing called stream thinking longer than I've been a daily writer, and that started in July of 1994. Stream thinking is taking the presence of now and turning it into thought, into words, into something that will create a reaction on your side of the speaker. It's something that I began to develop in my early days of radio, trying to understand that I didn't have to write everything down and be the perfectionist on paper before I delivered it. Because when you're an on-air radio talent and you've got 17 seconds of a song intro to fill, you could spend 25 minutes trying to perfect exactly what you're going to say. But something happens between the eyes and the lips that speak, and all of that time is wasted. Because you made a mistake on the air, and now you have to correct that mistake, and listeners are going, who is this screw up I'm listening to? And that's the reason why I really put a lot of energy in stream thinking, so that what is now stays here in the now, and it grows on your side of the speaker. But you've got to exercise that muscle to be a stream thinker and being present in this place called now. Learning how to trust free-form writing. And it's a daily exercise for me. It's one page, 10 minutes to write anything. But here's the only rule. You can't go back and edit the project. You've got to be able to trust what you put on paper. Learning how to free-form think. The best decisions are made right now. It is time for you to learn how to own your own leadership. This is the power of now. Today we're reading from January 29th, 2022. And what I was really jumping into was the definition of the word stealing. Think about that. What is your definition of stealing? To take without permission, right? Or to take without the legal right, without intending to return it. Okay, we get it. I mean, it's exactly what mom and dad has taught every one of us. But did you know that stealing has a second definition? To move somewhere quietly, surreptitiously, which means to avoid notice or secretively. When a family member is accused of stealing from the tree, it doesn't always mean money or pills, but rather they are secretly doing things that could and will bring harm. Therefore, by living a life of avoiding, you are without permission and you have no intention of returning the love being shared. Now, this is not a guilt trip. It's not even shaming. It's a better understanding of what people do to each other without truly understanding how and why it hurts so bad. I'm having a flashback of when I was a preteen and my brother, who was a teen, elected to run away from home. Now, being a preteen, I didn't understand the abandonment that my brother had just created. He physically ran away from home. Now, was that fear of abandonment, was it connected to not knowing who my father was? He took off when I was 3 years old. I don't remember what life was like at 3 years old. Is that the reason why I've become such a codependent person, in the way that my father abandoned me at such an age? My brother abandoned me in my preteen days. And now it's like I fear abandonment, even today. But I've learned to listen to it, to try to figure out how, okay, this is not going to be here today. The anxiety level doesn't have to be out of control. What's going to happen, and how can I learn to be stronger? And that's where my dog Jazzy came into my life 3 years ago. She was put in puppy prison. That's where we found her, in puppy prison. Somebody abandoned her, and not only once, but 4 times before she became a part of my life. So imagine being a puppy in a puppy prison. You've been abandoned 4 times, and here comes this older couple. They're looking at you and they're going, yeah, we want this one. And her eyes, they were so sad, because it's almost like she was saying, you're just going to bring me back. And when Jazzy came into our house, I mean, just as this ball of energy, I mean, just so dang strong. I was used to Maltese. That's who we rescued before. Maltese and Chinese crested, itty bitty puppies, who were also in puppy prison. So Jazzy, this wild dog, we call her the disaster artist, lived up to her name. She destroyed everything in the house when we weren't here. She was facing abandonment. Strange. Because I didn't want to take her back, and I did not take her back to puppy prison. What I did was I saw a lot of myself in her. what abandonment did to me through my pre-teen years, into my teen years, my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, and how even today, as I approach 60 in June, that I still have that fear of abandonment. So when I go back and I look at a word like stealing, the definition of stealing, to take without permission or legal right and without intending to return it. But I look at the second definition, which really a lot of people don't realize even exists, to move somewhere quietly or surreptitiously, which means to avoid notice or secretively. When a family member is accused of stealing from the tree, it doesn't always mean money or pills, but rather they are secretly doing things that could and will bring harm. And that's what happens to not just me, to a lot of people. We don't realize that when somebody, your brother in his teen years, takes off, or when your father, when you're 3 years old, takes off, that it still has an impact today. How do you move through this mountain? By talking about it, by making yourself aware today, in this moment of now, through free-form writing and thinking. Allow your feelings and emotions to step forward, because what you went through will always have the ability of being somebody's needle in a haystack. How you grew from it, how you developed the anger, and how you learned from that anger that you only live once. You don't need to spend all of your energy being angry in that once over there. You learn to find peace. But are you teaching peace? Are you activating another place where somebody can grow from their darkness? That's what this is about. Trusting free-form thinking will get you behind those doors and around those mountains that are blocking you from being you. You don't have to go up there and say, open the door now. We tend to do that because we want to find that darkness. You know what? Free-form writing, stream thinking. You're going to get there. Now what are you going to do about it? I'm Arroe, and that's Stream Thinking.